You're listening to The Okanagan Reader, where we present readings of short stories and other works that have been released under a Creative Commons license by their creators. You are free to listen to and share these readings as set out in their version of the Creative Commons license. Today's reading is Part 5 of The Juniper Tree, written by John Kessel and narrated by Jim Bowering. It's a short story in the collection The Baum Plan for Financial Independence. And now, The Juniper Tree, Part 5, by John Kessel. The next days became a nightmare. Eva spent all of her waking hours out on the surface with the search parties, coming inside only to recharge her air supply and catch an hour or two of sleep. Her eyes fell into a permanent squint from the brightness of the surface. For the first 24 hours, Eva still hoped Carey might be found alive. He had fallen unconscious in the shadow of some rock, she told herself. Hypothermia would keep his metabolism low, so he wouldn't exhaust his oxygen. As the hours passed, she kept despair at bay by driving herself even harder. The third day found her a part of a line of 20 cousins at 100-meter intervals, sweeping Shiva Ridge for the 4th time. Something was wrong with her faceplate. It was breaking all the gray landscape into particles, no piece of the moon connected to any other piece, and all of it was dead. The voices of the other searchers calling to each other sounded in her ear button. "Nothing here." "Where's here?" "I'm on the east end of the ridge below Black Rock." Eva felt numb. She came to the edge of a lava tube whose roof had fallen in. It was 50 meters to the shadowed bottom. Even in lunar gravity, a fall would be fatal. She swayed on the edge, having trouble breathing. Her mouth was dry. Her eyes itched. Someone grabbed her arm and pulled her away. "No." His voice came over her ear button, as close as her own thoughts. It was Jack. He wrapped her in a bear hug, drew her back. He made her return with him to Fowler, to eat a meal, to take some pills, and sleep for 14 hours. After that, Eva no longer tormented herself with impossibilities. Jack stayed with her every minute of her time on the surface. Despite her heartache, she still hoped Carey's body would turn up so she could figure out what had happened. But when a further week of searches still brought nothing, she asked that they be called off. The official inquest ruled Carey missing, presumed dead by hazard of misfortune. She turned to her work. The project was her only hope now. It was more than a matter of demonstrating the value of Cousin's science. Over the next months, the first assemblies using scans of organic compounds were completed. They produced edible soy protein and worked their way up toward applesauce. At meetings in the boardroom that looked out over the green fields of Fowler Basin, the other matrons watched her out of the corners of their eyes. Eva controlled her voice, operated her body as if by remote. Everything is normal, she told herself. Some mornings she would wake and listen for Carey thumping around the apartment, only to hear silence. She hid his pictures. Though she would not empty his room, she closed its door and never went inside. She went to watch the hockey team play. Other cousins sat beside her and made a show of treating her normally. Hockey was such a violent game, a boys' game. Had the cousins adopted it for that very reason, to go against the perception that women were soft? Eva watched Roz throw herself around the ice like a demon. What would drive such a shy girl to compete so hard? At night she lay awake and thought about Carey. She imagined him out there on the surface, running out of air. What was it about boys and men that they always took such big risks? You couldn't protect them. If you tried to, they got sulky and depressed. She had never questioned the place the cousins had prepared for boys in their world, how their aggression and desire for dominance had been thwarted and channeled. Keep your son close, let your daughter go, the homily went. Had she been fair to Carey? If she had him back with her this minute, could she keep herself from smothering him? Jack went back to his own work. His team planted a copse of junipers, pinyons, sage, and wildflowers on the east slopes of Fowler, hauling loads of their new soil that promised a better growth rate than the chemically prepared soils. He came home each night with dirt under his fingernails, scrubbed himself raw in the shower, and fell into bed exhausted. Jack and Eva had not made love after that night Carey disappeared. At first, Eva had no desire, and then, after her need returned, and she might have felt it a comfort to have Jack hold her in his arms, he seemed so depressed by Carey's loss that he would not touch her. Eva saw that worrying about her had taken Jack away from Roz. "I'm sorry," she vowed to Jack's sleeping form one night. "I can do better." Since Carey's disappearance, Roz spent less time at home. Eva saw the pain in Jack's eyes as he watched Roz. She wondered what it must be like for Roz to have this single strong male presence always there in her life. She owed Roz and Jack better than she had been giving, and the effort to engage them would help her stop thinking about Carey. She arranged for Roz to spend her second semester practicum in the colony's materials cooperatives. What to do about Jack's relationship to Roz was harder to figure out. Eva was a physicist, and had never paid much attention to the theories of Nora Sobieski and the other founders. It wasn't as though a man taking an interest in his daughter's upbringing was necessarily unnatural. But Eva realized that, just like her with Carey, out of his fear of losing Roz, Jack ran the risk of smothering her. Keep your son close, let your daughter go. Whether Jack could see it or not, it was time for Roz to begin to find her own place in the world. Jack had taken to bringing home chard, romaine lettuce, and carrots from the gardens. He brought a potted juniper for the balcony where they ate their meals. There, one night at dinner, Eva suggested to Jack that Roz move out. Jack looked frightened. "She's only 14, Eva. If she doesn't begin to break free now, she will have a much harder time later." "I understand that. It's not the way she grew up. She and I haven't been there that long, and—" "With Carey gone?" His voice trailed off. Eva watched him. "Jack, I know I've been distant. I know it's been hard for you. If you don't want to be alone with me, I'll understand. I just hope you won't live with Roz." "For pity's sake, Eva, don't you believe in love?" She was taken aback. "Of course I do." She poked her fork at her salad. "Well, I love Roz. I love you." Eva felt out of her depth. What did he mean when he said the word love? She looked into Jack's handsome face. Blue eyes, curly bronze hair, square jaw. How much, when he looked so hurt, he reminded her of Carey. Jack watched her intently. He was trying to communicate something, but she had no idea what it was. "I know you love us," Eva said. "That's not the question. But if Roz is ever going to fit in here, she needs to begin to network. I might even say the same for you." Network. He sat still as a stone. He acted so wounded. He was putting her on the spot. Was this about sex? "I'm not trying to push you away, Jack. It's not me who's been turning away every night in bed." "I realize that," he said defensively. "I thought that you were still grieving for Carey." God, she was no good at this interpersonal stuff. She looked away. She tried the salad grown from the gardens he and his team had planted. "Let me handle my grief in my own way," she said. He said nothing. He seemed more sad than angry. They ate in silence. After a while he asked her, "How's the salad?" "The best I've ever tasted. And the pine nuts, are they from the new trees?" "Yes," he said. "The juniper smells wonderful." "It's yours," he said. "I grew it for you."